All right, guys. All right. We are live. We are live and welcome. Welcome. You know, last week we went live and we talked about the Republicans. We talked about the Republicans taking control of the House. Now, we know that the Democrats, they control the Senate still, but the Republicans has taken control of the House fair and square. Congratulations. Congratulations. You guys did it. Now, we know that you were expecting a much larger result. Some analysts were saying somewhere between 20 and 40 seats. As of right now, you are ahead 220 to the Democrats 212. 220 to 212. Now, fair play, you only need 218 to rule. And in the House, 218 will do it. It will get the job done for sure. For sure. You are going to be in charge of all of the committees and the committee assignments. You can be in charge of who and what bill comes on the floor. You're in charge. Congratulations. Fair play. You also laid out your 4-point plan, the plan that will allow you to govern, and hopefully that plan, even though it didn't have a whole lot of details, that plan will allow you to see past the politics, look past all the theatrics, and lead your a path toward making America great again, or making America greater. So again, your responsibility is to lead the House. You're in the majority. The Senate still is controlled by the Democrats. Congratulations there. And being the having a Democratic um, president, President Biden, again, you need to work with the other side to govern. Now, we're not talking about that tonight. Tonight, we're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about the minority in the House. You know, Nancy Pelosi has been a fixture in the House forever. And overall, I think that most people would think that, for definitely for the Democrats, she's done a pretty good job. But she's stepping away. She's stepping away. She has done her time. You know, her husband got attacked and all this anti. Why is it so vitriol? Do you really need to be like some of these foreign countries where you bring you know, protection when you're on the floor because a brawl is going to break out? That's not the American way. So she's had enough. You know, I think that even without being harassed that in the way that she has been harassed, she has, when she won leadership last time, she said that she would only seek 4 years, so 2 terms. And her time is up. Now, who's going to take over? Who is taking over? You know, we got to hold them accountable too. Just like the Republicans, we have to hold the Democrats accountable too. They have to provide leadership in whatever capacity they can provide so that they can move the country further. You know, in 2 years, there's going to be another vote. And this time we're going to vote for the president. We're going to vote for the Senate again and the House again. And who knows, there may be a change of power again in the House. Every 2 years, there's an opportunity. So we need to have some leadership. Like I said, for the Republicans, I'm going to say for the Democrats. You cannot just say what you are against. You got to say what you're for. You got to say what you're for. Now we're going to talk about that. What are they for? Now, I know we have a lot of opinions. A lot of people are, not sure of how it's going to go. The only way that we can tell is kind of examining the incoming leadership. See what they stand for. What do you stand for, sir, ma'am? What do you stand for? I don't want to know what you're against necessarily, only to build contrast. Okay, I get it. You got to say what you're against so that you can say what you're for. Got it. But I want to know what you're for. More than anything else, I would like to know what you're for. So let's look at this. Let's look at the incoming, outgoing leadership, and then we'll take a look at the incoming leadership because I really want to know what this brother is for. I really want to know what this brother is for. All right. So here is outgoing leadership. Can you guys see that? Can you see that? Nancy Pelosi. She's leaving. She's already announced that she's out of here. I'm out of here. Now, the woman, most of this leadership, they're in their 80s, man. They've done their deed. 80 years old, dealing with Congress day in and day out. That can put a toll on anyone. On anyone. Let's expand her here. So she has announced that she will not be seeking to run for Speaker of the House, minority. Hoyer, Representative Stan Hoyer, he's out of there. He's out of there also. He's not going to seek leadership. Clyburn, he said that he would definitely step down as minority whip, but he wants to stay in the mix. He wants to be part of the leadership, and so he still want to stay in there. But this brother here, Representative Hakeem S. Jeffries, the Honorable. He has put in his papers to run for the Speaker of the House, and of course he will be in a minority party. So let's look at this. Let me pull up this real quick. Let's see what he said. So here are some of his positions, but before we go there, I want to do this. Let's do this. Let me remove this and let me add some things here. I want to know a little bit more about the brother before we get into his positions. Now, as we know, he is the representative Democratic representative of New York District. He won his election. Let's see. He won big, guys. He won big. Look at this. He won 72, almost 72.5% of the vote, 95% reporting. Basically, they was able to call this pretty fast. This is from the Associated Press, House District results. So, brother from New York, he won it. Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, he has a home in New York or in Washington, whether he's there, both of those. My job is to fight for the people of the 8th Congressional District. And he won fair and square. All right. Let's find out a little bit more about him. You know, you got to stand on your record, and you got to really look at the things that he's doing now, because once he becomes the head of the party, he is going to have to represent the party at large. So he is not, his particular positions may be a minority, even though the positions tend to, what he wants will tend to surface. And so I think that finding out what he wants, what his positions are, is important. And then what his party's positions are, because he has to govern. He has to govern, and he's going to have to govern from a weakened position, a minority position. But then, if again in 2 years, he may be in the majority position. So let's add this, and let's see what Wikipedia has to say about him. Can you guys see that? Now, here's his Wikipedia page, and he says that he was born in August the 4th, 1970. So what that makes him? Oh, the brother's 52. Is American political, and he's an attorney. He's an attorney who has served in the United States representative from New York, 8th congressional district since 2013. So he's been there before. He's not new to the game, so that's good. As a member of the Democratic Party, he represents a district that covers part of the. Okay, so that's the district he covers. He was a corporate lawyer by occupation. He worked for Paul Weiss, Rifkin, Walton, and Garrison. There's a bunch of them. Then Viacom and CBS. Before running and serving in the New York State Assembly from 2007 to 2012, representing the 57th Assembly District, Jeffries has chaired the House Democratic Caucus. So he's been in that position where he has to chair something. That's awesome, because you have to learn how to govern. You got to know how to govern, and you got to know how to govern people. And the Democratic caucus, they say that they have a reputation of, it's like herding cats. Everybody want to kind of go their own way. Everybody have their own opinion. You have some conservatives, you have blue dogs, and everything in between. So he has to know how to govern, and according to his time being as the Democratic House Democratic leader, I'm sorry, as the House Democratic Caucus chair of that, he has, since 2019, he has a couple of years under his belt. Now, he has announced his campaign to be the House Democratic leader, as I told you, since Nancy Pelosi stepped down, and Nancy Pelosi and her crew stepped down, and she did the right thing. What she did is that she announced that she's not going to run, and she supported this brother. She supported this brother. They talked about his early life, elections result. Basically, he won his tenure. Like I said, he's been in the House. Now, being a business show, I always like to pull up things that are related to business. Now, that was his overall and page, and that was him looking at the things that covering the things that he done as an elected official. But I want to dig a little deeper. I want to go deeper, guys. I want to see what this guy, where did he go to school at? What are some of his businesses? What are some of the things that he's done to make him qualified to lead the Democratic Party? What are some of the tools that business people use to find that stuff out? One of the main things that we use to find things like that out is LinkedIn. So let's add him to LinkedIn. Let's see what he did in LinkedIn. Let's check out his profile. Check out the brother profile. See what we got here. 500 connections. Let's see. He has 5,451 followers. Okay. That's decent. He has some of his YouTube things. Now, I've checked out his YouTube channel. All this is old, so we're gonna actually cover his positions later on. It says that he has been in Congress for 9 years, almost 10 years here, guys, since 2013. Assembly member, counsel. Now, this is the CBS Viacom, and then he was attorney at law. He got his JD, and let's see, he went from 94 to 97. So that's pretty much straight through. He got a master's from New York University School of Law. So he was in New York, and he went there. And after graduation, he got it looked like everything's New York. So after graduation from law school, he stayed, looks like. He has his master's from Georgetown, 92 to 94. And then, so he's got a political science bachelor's. And check this out. Looks like he went straight through from his law degree. He was enrolled in 88 to 92. That he got his political science. Okay. And then we went straight to Georgetown from 92 to 94, political policy, public policy. And then it's JD. Straight through. He spent 7 years at a law firm. Then he was counsel for 2 years for CBS Viacom, a little over 2 years. New York State Assembly, 6 years there. So he didn't bounce around, guys. 7 years, 2 years, 6 years. He stayed. He wasn't those 1 and 2 and done type of guys. Ran for office and was selected 2013, won his office seat in 2013, and stayed since then. So seemed to be pretty solid. So, okay. I'm not going to get into his personal life. His personal life is personal life. This is a business show. I want to know what he can do for me. What can the brother do for me? Now, I know that he is going to make history if he's selected. He will be the first brother. The first brother. (2023), he's standing to be the first brother to lead the House, minority leader. That's awesome. Now we've had the first black president, and now we're going to have potentially the first brother to lead the House of Representatives, minority leader of the House of Representatives. That's awesome. Now, I wish it would have been a little bit earlier, but hey, a win is a win. A win is a win. And so we will definitely take wherever we can. A win is a win. Congratulations. Now, I'm going to want to do something. I'm going to want to know what your positions are, because it's great to be a minority in that position. Awesome. But I'm a business guy. I'm David Carmena. And I have a business. I want to know what your positions are that will help my business. Business leaders want to know what your positions are. Now, we got you. We got your back. We're going to support, but we need to know what your positions are so that if you do ascend to power in the House, maybe in 2 years, because let's face it, you ain't got no power now, brother. Them Republicans going to get in there and guess what? They're going to investigate this and point fingers there, and hopefully, I'm hoping that they would have, some ability to work with the other side, the other party, so that we can get some things done. Because guess what? They have to send that stuff over to the Senate, those bills over to the Senate. The Senate has to do, they have to work together, and then President Biden has to sign. So we have to work together the next 2 years so that something can get done. But we want to know what your positions are. Where you at on this stuff, brother? Where are you? We know you have the pedigree. It didn't say if you was top of your class, but we didn't need to know that. You got your bachelor's, your master's, and your JD. You work for a prestigious law firm. You work for a corporate 500. You won your seat. You've been there for a while. You have led your you have led other people that are in your party. You've done the things that you're supposed to do. Your LinkedIn profile shows this. Let's look at this again. Law firm, Fortune 500, New York Assembly, New York State Assembly, U.S. House of Representatives, 9 years doing that, and then there you've led the caucus. So you've done your part. You're ready to lead. Now I want to know what your positions are. Now I want to know how you're going to lead. You got the qualifications to lead. There's no doubt about that. You got your qualifications to lead. You got the blessings of Nancy Pelosi. Here's what she said. She said, when she knew that she was going to lose, she said that one day after the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, said that she planned to step down from the party leadership, New York Representative Hakeem Jeffries announced his bid to run for House Minority Leader for the 118th Congress. Nancy said that the time and time again throughout a period of enormous turmoil for our nation, House Democrats rose to the occasion. Jeffries said this. Today, I write to humbly ask for your support for the position of House Democratic leader as we once again prepare to meet the moment. Pelosi did her thing. Pelosi could have said, "Hey, listen, no, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do this now. Maybe I'll do it later." But no, she didn't do that. She did not do that. Pelosi went right back and said, "Can you guys see this? Let me see if I can get it a little bit larger for you. See if we can expand just a tad." Let's see here. It says Pelosi departure fulfills a promise she made to her colleagues after being reelected as leader in 2019 to only serve for 4 years. We talked about that. And she is not only one to step down, but all of the people that here, we talked about that. We said that Stanley Hoyer, he's gone. We said that Jim Clyburn, now I said that he was gone, but he's going to step down and serve as assistant Democratic leader. So that's going to give the brother some leadership position. He's seasoned. He's very, very seasoned. Some rank and file Democrats have been calling for a new generation to replace Pelosi, Hoyer, and Clyburn, who are all in their 80s. What? Good Lord. all in their 80s, all of them. Jeffries, he's 52. Yeah, he got the vigor. He got the vigor. Not only that, but the brother, he's not stepping away from his roots. He's from New York. He's from New York. So let's see what some of the things that he's willing to say and to do. Says here, Jeffries has served as the chair for the Democratic caucus since 2019, was an impeachment manager during the first impeachment of trial of former President Donald Trump, would be the chamber's first black Democratic leader. He's from New York. He's famous for quoting Brooklynite rapper Notorious B.I.G. in his floor speeches. So I love that. Love it, love it, love it. You can be educated and still like rap. You can be educated and cite some contemporary poets. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, if you grew up in the rap era and you don't know any rap, that's kind of odd, especially from being from New York. Come on now. Who from New York don't like B.I.G.? I'm a Pac fan, but I represent and then recognize that B.I.G. he did his thing. Shout out to Jay-Z and some of the other people that I like and follow. You can have degrees. You can be in the suit. You can be doing all those things, but guess what? You still like to get down. I'm from the dirty South. Shout out to Luke. I would play you some of that music, but guess what? I'm going to get banned, guys. I'm going to get a copyright infraction. But there's nothing like going to the club. I remember oh, young love. So I had my first business, guys. Let me tell you a little bit something. I had my first business, consultant. It was a consulting company. Just graduated my engineering degree. And, I was pretty focused. And so I was, it was kind of a semi-networking thing. There was something going on with at USF. And, I was invited there, and I'm there, and I'm doing my thing and kind of working the crowd, and music came on. Now, this crowd was USF staff mainly. It was a lot of PhDs there. A lot of PhDs, a lot of, administrative officials, basically people that were there they were somebody. It was a nice little crowd. It wasn't big, it wasn't a lot, but they were somebody. Mainly a lot of engineers. Again, I graduated from USF, so I graduated a year prior to that time, and I'm hanging out, and they was playing all of the, but guess what? Some Pac came on, and after Pac, we had some Dirty South. Dirty South came on, and I've never seen so many PhDs, so many people that with all these degrees get down. Twerking wasn't a big thing then. Twerking was not. But moving that body, that was pretty cool. And there's nothing like, for me, a person that's real, person that's keep it real. Shout out, Loretta. I see that you are a Tupac fan as well. I didn't know that. Pac is one of my favorite rappers. But there's nothing wrong with being a professional person being a state representative, and liking rap. What's wrong with that? Nothing. Nothing's wrong with that. So, okay, brother, it's good. I'm glad that you are putting some of the contemporary poets in an official document, because everything that a person, a congressman, say on the floor is part of the record. It's part of history. It's part of history. So good for you, brother. Good for you. Let's go back. All right. So let's see. We said that you was elected in 2012. Okay, we got that. Said that the guys are stepping down. And they go in this article, they talk about some of the other people. So you have your crew. You have your crew together. And Nancy Pelosi has recommended you, endorsed you for her position. So that's huge. That is huge. So now you have the blessing of Nancy Pelosi. I don't think that I think you may be running unopposed. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Now here's your speech. Here's your speech. Gonna take a quick look at that. And then I want to look at your record. Enough of this. We've established that you are qualified for your job. We've established that. We got that. We got you. Now we want to take a look at your positions. What are your positions? What are your key issue positions? Because at the end of the day, you have to govern. At the end of the day, you have to be a person that I and other business leaders can make money with your policies. It's great that you're a brother. It's great that, if you're a Democrat, it's great that you're a Democrat. If you're a Republican, you want to know that you can work with this brother. Now, one thing they did say that I didn't mention, that one of his signature bills, he did work with the other side. So he did reach across the aisle. He worked with the Republicans. So that is awesome. Awesome. But what are your positions? What are some of the key things that you are for? I don't want to know what you're against. I want to know what you're for. I'm going to look at each one of these positions, and if they have a business slant to it, I want to talk about that a little bit more, because I want to know if I can work. If you are in power, what to expect. Okay, so abortion, you are pro-choice. Okay, the budget. It says that, do you support expanding federal funding to support social safety net programs such as Social Security and Medicare? Yes. Yes, he supports that. So a support safety, a social safety net, he supports it. Awesome. No one should. This is America. No one should fall below a certain net. Campaign finance. Do you support the regulation of indirect campaign contributions from corporate unions and individuals? Indirect campaign. Yes, he supports that. So you want to know where the money's coming from, guys. Let's translate that. We want to regulate where the money's coming from. We don't want a whole lot of that dark money. Billions and billions and billions of dollars go to our representative, to the presidents, to senators, to support them. You want to know where it comes from. Crime. Do you support the protection of government officials, including law enforcement officials, from personal liability in civil lawsuits concerning alleged misconduct? No. Let's stop here. Because in the black and brown community, we have that. It's a problem. It's a problem. When the George Floyd thing was going around, I don't have any kids. I don't have any kids, but I did raise my niece and nephew. I did raise my niece and nephew, and my niece, I she's no longer with us, but my nephew Daryl, he lives with me. He is 6'3". He says he's 6'4", but let's say he's 6'3", 6'2" and a half, 6'3". Beautiful brother, skinny, little skinny, needs to gain some weight, tall, got a little six-pack working. Good looking kid. 22. Thinks he's the Mac. Think he's got it going on. One of the things that really bothered me is when all this stuff with George Floyd and all these images of cops killing black and brown kids, shooting them in the back because they can't catch him. Oh, he had some type of firearm and it's his cell phone. There's no recovering from death. So I had to sit Daryl down. I said, Daryl, he was just been stopped not too long, maybe about a week before that. He was stopped. He was driving my car. He was in a Tesla. So here's a 22-year-old kid driving a $60,000 car. Maybe he was speeding, maybe he wasn't. Probably was doing, maybe a couple of miles over the speed limit. But they pulled him over. They said, son, show me this or show me that. He called me. I said, Daryl, cooperate. But Uncle David, I wasn't speeding. I wasn't doing anything of that. I wasn't doing nothing. I said, Daryl, cooperate. And I could hear the cop through the window. He was saying, the cop was saying, hey, where is your license? Where is your insurance? Let me see your hands. That's scary. That is scary for a 22 young boy, a kid. He may have been pulled over once, at most twice in his life. And he's 22. He's driving a $60,000 car, thinking that he has done nothing wrong, and he is indestructible. I said, Daryl, whatever you do everything that dude say, because whether he is right or wrong, there's no recovery from death. I want you back here. I love you. I want you back so I can whip that ass. That's a joke. But I did want him back. I want him back safe and sound. So so the code for something like this, where it says, do you support the protection of government officials, including law enforcement officers, from personal liability in civil lawsuits concerning alleged misconduct. When I see something like that, I think of Daryl. I think of Daryl. I think of the time where he is pulled over, rightly or wrongly. I think of only him coming back home. And one tool that will get him back home is you hold people accountable. I don't care if you're an R, you're a D, whatever. I served in the military. You got to hold people accountable. And if that cop thinks that he has no repercussions by the way he treated another individual while performing his job, that's not holding him accountable. Now, cops have a hard job. I get it. I support law enforcement. I support law enforcement. I want you to keep us safe. But I also want to make sure my son, nephew gets home. I want you to be held accountable for your actions in certain situations. So I'm with you, brother. I am with you on crime. I remember somebody reading a post. It was a social media post, and someone was saying how um, if we become more black and brown community becomes more of a producer. I'm paraphrasing. More of a producer. If the if we become more of a viewed as more of a asset, a lot of these things are going to go away. If you are a friend of the police chief, if you are an employee that employs, 100 people, let's say your company, let's say you're a small business person, you're employing 12 people. If I'm riding around, same situation, I'm in my car and I'm driving. Let's say I'm driving the same exact speed, and someone pulls me over. You know what they're gonna say? Hey, Mr. Carmena, how you doing? I noticed you were speeding just a little bit. Hey, slow it down. Slow it down. Keep it moving. That's what they're gonna tell me because they know that tomorrow I'm sitting with the mayor. The mayor bodyguard knows me by. I go up to the mayor all the time. His bodyguard, hey David, how you doing? The mayor, hey David, how you doing? You going to lunch? Are you going to the university club? Shout out university club. Are you going to this private club, exclusive membership to have lunch? Yeah, I'm going to lunch. Hey, listen, someone on the police force, they stopped me the other day and they hit me upside my head. What? They did what? That's a whole different response. If you, the business class, especially the minority business class, if you own stuff, if you are producing, if you adding to that tax base, it's a whole different world, you live in. But let's say he didn't let me go. Let's say he said, you know what? Let me check it out. Here's your warning. Here's your ticket. I'm going to get home safe. It's not going to be, I think that, when he pulled up his cell phone, it was a gun and I had to shoot him 25 times. That don't happen, or it's less likely for it to happen if they feel that there's some accountability. Try it out. Let's see what else you got. Okay, so economy. Do you support federal spending as a means of promoting economic growth? Okay. Most business people think you got to spend money to make money. Yes. So he said yes there. That's a common position held for with business leaders. You got to spend some money and make some money. Okay. Another economy question: do you support providing financial relief to businesses and or corporations negatively impacted by the state of natural emergencies for the COVID-19? Okay, so this is the COVID-19 package, and he said yes. Another one: do you support the federal government taking action beyond those of the Federal Reserve to alleviate inflation? So he wants to reduce inflation. He said yes. Education: do you support the forgiveness of federal student loans? Forgiveness of the student loans. Now, this is a big one, guys. This is something that we're seeing now. President Biden has put out a bill, passed a bill to forgive the student loans. And last time we checked, as of today, the Supreme Court look. This student loan stuff is complicated. Why would somebody be against some forgiveness of the student loans? I don't know. Because guess what that means? If you are pro growth, I know a lot of people that their student loans is what is causing them not to invest, not to start a business, not to spend because they have $100,000, $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 student loan. Why not give them a break? We said before that you got to spend money to make money. So if you are a government and you want to add to your tax break because so that you can get taxes, add to the economy so that you can get taxes from these guys, and you get taxes from individuals and businesses, then why wouldn't you want to take steps that will spur business? I can guarantee you that I know of many people personally that would say, "Hey, listen, I would do this. I would invest if I didn't have my the student loan debt over my head. I would open up a business. I would hire more people, but I have the student loan." If you alleviate the student loan, that is another way of incurring growth, reducing inflation, adding to the tax base. But there's some opposition there. Okay. Energy and environment. Do you support government funding for development of renewable energy? That's a big one, guys. Renewable energy. Now, here's some common ground. Let's hope this is common ground because the Republicans are for renewable energy too. Stanley Hoyer said that one of his, I'm sorry, McCarthy said that one of his positions is renewable energy. We want renewable energy, clean energy, renewable energy. So hopefully there's some common ground. Let's see what the brother said here. Remember, he's going to be in charge of the Democrats. And because the Republicans, let me tell you a little dirty secret. Right now, the Republicans only have a majority in the House by two seats. Now, there's still some uncalled races, but right now there are 220. You need 218 to lead, to be in charge. You need 218. They're at 220, and the Democrats are currently at 212. What that means is that Republicans do not have a majority, what's called a governing majority. They have the majority, but they don't have a governing majority. If anybody flake out on them, they're going to need some Democratic help. If the conservative wing, the far right wing decide that they don't want to support a bill, they're going to need some help from the people across the aisle. They're going to need help from the Democrats, from him. So hopefully, if he has experience with working across the aisle, which he does, because one of his positions, major positions, that one of the bills that he got through was a bipartisan bill. He worked with the other party. So if you've done it then, maybe you can do it now. Maybe we can do something on this clean energy. Maybe that's an opportunity. Another one on position that he has on energy and environment. Do you support the federal regulation of greenhouse gas emissions? Yes. Clean energy reduces. I see them as kind of, they work together. Reduce clean energy, add more clean energy, reduce the greenhouse gas. So they're kind of working together there. Guns. Here we go. Do you generally support gun control legislation? Yes. All right. Well, we know that the other side, they don't support any type of gun regulation. So he didn't answer about health. Well, one position about healthcare, another healthcare. Do you support expanding paid family and or medical leave opportunities? Yes. All right. So yeah, paid family leave. From a business standpoint, you can look at it two ways there. If you One of the things that is a great way to keep key personnel is to provide a very good environment for them. And if some of your key people are the childbearing age, or part of their childbearing, then having a good medical and good policy, family personal time policy, is very important to them. If their kid is sick, or if they're sick, being able to take some time off and know that their job is still there is important. Bearing a child, both parties, because there's a lot of still stay-at-home dads now. So if you have a child and the child gets sick, you want to make sure that you're able to spend some time there. So I get that. I get it. Now, from a small business standpoint, you have to weigh that with being productive. One of the things that is a nightmare for most small business owners is making payroll. And making payroll, to an extent, is being your employees being able to produce. If you have a deadline and you have a contract, let me give you an example. We have a contract coming up. We're going to talk to this large government entity, and we have to produce a contract on Monday. We have to produce something on Monday. That's the deadline. They want to talk to us on Monday. Monday, we have to have stuff ready for that conversation on Monday. And if someone in your business is key to that, or you need an input from that department, let's say it's a clean energy bill. Let's use that as an example. You're doing a proposal to work with solar energy, and you're talking to some people, and you have all this stuff that you have to put together. And one of these numbers that you need is, let's say you have a contractor that is not under your roof. You're partnering with this guy, and the contractor has submitted a lot of raw material to your department. He did his job. The contract, you told the contractor, hey, listen, James, uh, I need this information by Tuesday because we need to make that part of the package so that when we talk to these guys next Monday, we're good to go. Brother said, yeah, I'll get it to you. And he did. He did get it to us. And we are now massaging that information. And your key massager is gone. She's gone. Now you stand to lose a $30 million contract. So it's got to be you small business owners, which is the majority of the businesses in the United States, are small business. Their key people, or the people that is responsible for a certain project, have to be there to do that. So there's you got to have some middle ground. So while I support in general, I support this family leave stuff. It got to be a middle ground. Another healthcare. Do you support lowering the cost of prescription drugs? I think both sides support that. Immigration. Do you support increasing security along the southern U.S. border? Wow, that's a hot topic, guys. That's a hot topic. From a business owner, I can see both sides of that. Another, immigration. Do you support requiring? And he said no. He said no. Another, immigration. Do you support requiring immigrants who are unlawfully present to return to their country or origin before they're eligible for citizenship? He said no. He said no. We might have to do a show on this immigration. We may have to dig a little bit deeper on this immigration. Right now, immigration is a hot topic. I really can see both sides of it. I really can. Maybe I'm gonna dig a little deeper on that immigration curve. Maybe there's some common ground that people are not really considering. National security. Okay, for sure, we should. Everybody want to be safe. So let's see. Maybe this is another. Maybe this is another common ground topic. National security. Do you support economic intervention as a means for resolving international conflicts? Okay, you said yes. So that's sanctions, guys. I think that both sides support that. That is, instead of us going to war, we're going to sanction somehow. If you look at the what's going on in Ukraine, you're looking at the Russian-Ukraine war, and what the United States response to that. We're not in it. We're not putting boots on the ground, but we're supporting where we're going to support. So he said yes. He said yes to that. That's awesome. He said yes. All right. National security. Do you support the U.S. providing increased offensive military aid to Ukraine? So we talked about the Ukraine issue. And generally, we support Ukraine. United States supports Ukraine, and so we don't want to have any boots on the ground for sure, because we don't need another world war. So he said that you got to read the question. Do you support the U.S. providing increased offensive military aid? Not boots on the ground aid. He said yes. Taxes. Do you support raising taxes on anyone, on any income, or any in entity to promote economic growth? He said yes. Okay. Okay. So this can be interpreted several ways, and this directly affects us as business owners. Raising to support economic growth. Let me see how that's worded one more time. It says that, do you support raising taxes on any income or any entity to promote economic growth? Now, there's a rule of thumb out there that raising taxes does not support economic growth, and so that's where we are with that. Can we raise taxes on a group to support economic growth? Well, you want to grow the economy. Raising taxes to grow the economy, I would have to dig out. There's a lot of stuff in there. We're gonna have to unpack that one, because can you raise taxes to support economic growth? Does that mean closing loopholes, or does that mean taxing companies, profitable companies? Does that mean just taxing foreign companies? Um, Way too vague. Way too vague. He said yes. And then trade. Do you generally support removing barriers to international trade? For example, tariffs, quotas, etc. We, Trump said it right. Is that some of these trade agreements are not in our favor. They're not fair. Maybe there was a reason why we capitulated. Um, but these agreements are multi-year, very long agreements. So maybe the reason why we agreed to an agreement 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, is not in our best interest now. So we have to look at stuff like that. We have to look at the trade agreements and see if it still works for us. We want to be fair. The world is a small place, and you trade with me, I trade with you. We don't want a war back and forth where each one of us are raising, the tariff on an item higher and higher and higher, because we raise something on them, they raise something on us, but it got to be fair. You got to be fair. Let's see if we can find a win-win on something like that. And I think that the other side, I think that's another common ground. I think that's another common ground where um there's something that can be worked on both sides of the aisle. So those were his major positions. And he seemed to be kind of right there in the center. Right there in the center. That's what he seemed to be. So let's just recover that again. Those major positions, budget, yes. Campaign finance reform, yes. No on the crime. We don't want to protect. We want to hold the officers responsible in certain cases. Economy, basically, economy was yes. He wants to promote growth, lower inflation. Education, he wants to reduce the student loans, or give the forgiveness for student loans. Uh, he want to know where the money coming from for elections. He's for clean energy. He's for gun regulation. He is for healthcare initiatives. He's not against sending the immigration people back and enforcing increasing enforcement of uh, the border situations um, at the U.S. southern border for national security and for trade. So he has basically laid out his agenda. It is pretty centralist. Some of those things are clearly positions that he can work with the other out for. Will the Republicans want to work with him? I don't know. Will they want to work with him? That remains to be seen. When you are in the Senate, you have to work with the other side. There's filibuster rules. There's procedural stuff. I mean, it's harder to ram stuff through when you're in the Senate. Not so in the House. Not so in the House. You can control the agenda. You can control the committees. You can that 2018 in charge is a big thing. It is a big thing. So even though he's at 220 representatives now, all he needed was 218, and that is a big thing. The only ways that I think that he would probably have to reach out if he don't have the votes within his party. And when you reach out to the Democrats, then there may be some opportunity where both parties can help solve a solution. But at the end of the day, even if they present their bill and send it over to the Senate has, again, the Senate is controlled by the Republicans. I mean, sorry, the Democrats. The Republicans are minority there. And then it goes up to a Democratic president who has veto power. So it's going to be very interesting how these next 2 years are going to unfold. As a business owner, we have to work with whatever comes out of Washington, whatever federal policies. Luckily, state and local policies are there wasn't much turnover here, especially in the state of Florida. The governor is still the governor. Our mayor is still a mayor, and yes, there's some political aspirations that will reverberate nationally, but basically everything's still the same. But whether you're in Florida or you are in uh, California and any place in between, as a business owner, you have to work with both sides of the aisle. You have to work with whatever comes down because, again, you have to make payroll. You have to make payroll. And make payroll, your business has to be profitable. Has to be profitable. So working with both parties, working with whether Democratic leadership or Republican leadership, it doesn't matter. You still got to make. You still got to produce. You still got to stay grinding. Know your positions. Make sure that your officials govern all this fluff and stuff that is going to come up. See through all that, the BS. Hold your people accountable. Hold them accountable to make sound business policies. And as always, stay grinding.